Hello, welcome back to eBritish IELTS. I'm Siddhima and I'm going to talk about something today that is of utmost importance to your IELTS examination. So, I hope you all are doing well and you've been following our lessons regularly. And if you have, I'm sure you must have gained in-depth knowledge about various modules of the IELTS section. Alright, so what are we going to discuss in this video are some common mistakes that people make in their IELTS examination. Often a lot of students say that we're not able to achieve our desired band. Why is that so? Is it because we don't have the ability to do so? Or is it because we're not working hard? So it's not because of that. But sometimes people tend to make common mistakes, very simple, basic common mistakes that are actually avoidable. So if you want to jump these hurdles, you must watch this video and learn about some common mistakes that you should avoid while you want to do well on your IELTS examination. In this video, we're particularly going to pertain to the speaking section of the IELTS test. Alright, so without wasting any more time, let's dive right into it and understand what mistakes are avoidable in your speaking section. So the first mistake that you should skip while you're appearing for your exam is having answers or giving answers with inadequate length. Alright, your answers should not be too short, or you should not even beat around the bush and go on and on about your answers. So they should not be too lengthy also. Alright, an adequate length is something that the examiner is looking for. So if the examiner asks you, where are you from? You should not just say New Delhi. Alright, you should know how to frame your answer, correctly and in the adequate manner. So try and say, I'm from New Delhi, it's the capital of India. That's it. Do not go on and on about what all New Delhi has, the historical culture, the street food of Delhi. So you can keep that to yourself. Adding a sentence or two is perfectly fine and exactly what your examiner is looking for. So try and frame your answers correctly when they're of the adequate length. So this is something that you must keep in mind. Alright, moving on to our next mistake. Parroting the question. Now what does this mean? So you see, when we've written parroting the question, we usually mean that, this phrase means that you should not go on and copy the entire question like a parrot when you're giving the answer. Okay, you're not a parrot, you're a human being. You have to express your language capabilities. And paraphrasing is an essential part of the IELTS examination, something that your examiner is constantly looking for. So if your examiner asks you, what is your favorite sport? You should not say, my favorite sport is football. Instead, try to paraphrase that in an interesting manner. Try and saying, I love watching a good game of football. See, that's much more interesting. So try and do that and never repeat the question. That way you are just wasting a sentence. Moving on to this mistake, freezing. Now this mistake is pretty natural and it usually happens to us when we're having a regular conversation with people. There often can be things that we have no clue about, or we could be presented with a question that we are actually unaware of. In those circumstances, I would recommend try and don't freeze. In fact, you should not freeze. Alright, if you do not understand a question, try and probably ask the examiner what it meant. Try and ask for a little clarity. So you could always say, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you please repeat the question? Also, do not do that for every question. If you genuinely did not understand that, do that once. But listen to the question carefully, and what you should do in a situation like this, where you have no clue about what the question is, try and pick keywords from the question. Alright, so if they ask that, do you think that sex education should be introduced in developing countries? And you have no clue about what you have to say about this, do not just go, or do not freeze. take a pause, take a deep breath, and pick up the keywords: sex education, developing countries, and try and put forward an answer which is relevant to the question. So you can always say that, yes, I feel sex education is very important and essentially very important for developing countries, because population is a huge obstacle that most developing countries face. So all this should be taught from a very initial stage in a child's or in a person's life. So try and gather whatever you can from the question, but don't freeze. Now, let's understand this mistake. Overusing complex word. If you've been following our videos, you know that vocabulary is a huge part of your IELTS examination, and it is highly recommended that you have a high vocabulary to score well. But you know, if you overuse that high vocabulary, it is not going to take you anywhere. Do not just mug up a few high vocabulary words and just fit them anywhere in the sentence. Of course, it is required that you speak about words or you speak about sentences which have these words in them, but do not make your answer very complex. Do not showcase everything you know. Alright, whatever you've learned in your IELTS preparation, do not try and just fit it anywhere and everywhere in your answer, because that might get very abrupt. Alright, so speak in a manner which is, one, relevant, and two, which makes sense. A lot of times simpler sentences have a higher impact on the examiner just because they are correct and they are in the relevant and they're presented in the relevant manner. Moving on to the next mistake. Incorrect grammar. Oh no, this is a strict no-no. So grammar is like the backbone of any language. Good grammar cannot be replaced. While you're working on preparing and honing your skills for the IELTS, this is something that you should absolutely work the hardest on, because incorrect grammar is going to take your language and your speaking module downhill. In fact, for that matter, any module downhill. So you have to check that whatever sentence you framed and whatever answer you're giving to the examiner is grammatically correct. Alright, always keep in mind, good grammar is non-negotiable. Moving on to the next mistake. Using native accent. So see, we all have our certain native accents, and while you're not supposed to replicate the accent the examiner has because they're from a different descent, you're supposed to speak in a neutral accent, or I mean you're expected to use a neutral accent. Alright, so the examiner knows that you're not from the UK or the US, so you will not have an American or a British accent, but try and maintain a neutral accent. So a lot of times India is a vast country and we have people from different regions who have different mother tongues and their different dialects also. So often when they speak English, it is reflected in their English. Remember that you are being judged on your pronunciation also. So try and keep a neutral accent and your pronunciation should be absolutely correct. So a lot of people tend to confuse certain words and speak the incorrect pronunciation of that word. For instance, words like merry, Mary, and marry are almost similar, but they have completely different meanings. So if you fit these words incorrectly to some sentences, or if you want to speak a word like, if you want to say Merry Christmas and you accidentally say Merry Christmas, so that is a wrong accent, that is a wrong native accent that has just been reflected. So try and maintain a neutral accent and learn the correct pronunciation of words. Moving on to our next point, not warming up. Yes, you read that correct, but what does this mean? It basically means that whenever you're going for an examination, it is natural for you to be a little nervous and to be a little jittery. What should you do to overcome that tension in the air and be comfortable in your environment? So a lot of students, what they do is they don't warm up to the place they are going to for the examination. They'll usually go, if they are appearing for the IELTS maybe the second time or the third time and they're well versed with the schedule and how things go, they usually take it for granted and they just go like 5 minutes earlier, 10 minutes earlier. what happens is they are usually in a haste, in an situation like that, and they don't get the time to warm up to their environment. It is very important that you go on time, that you be on time. You consider that even though it might be your second or third attempt, but it is a new examination, and you should be absolutely calm with the entire procedure. While you go to your examination venue, you should be well in time. You should warm up to the situation. You should understand when your roll call is going to come, when are you going in for your speaking examination. So warm up and take some time to adjust to the entire mindset of giving an exam. Do that. All right. Now, this point again relates to the previous one, and also is both of them are sort of interdependent. Being way too nervous. Again, as I said, being nervous is normal. We usually are nervous in a lot of situations, in a lot of interview situations, and this examination is very important to you. Most people take it for immigration purposes, or you could be applying to a university, so it is important for you, and it is natural to be nervous. But the thing is, if you let that take a toll on you, it will really affect your examination and how your speaking section will go, because it will reflect in your body language. You will fumble when you even don't want to, you will stutter. So all that can make your English go really jumbled up. So again, being on time and warming up to the entire examination, trying and not being too nervous is something that you must focus on. All right, practice over and over again. Try talking to strangers so that you get in a habit of speaking on various topics with strangers. A lot of times it could be a first attempt of the IELTS examination also, and somebody just might not be comfortable in speaking to a stranger, so that can also make them way too nervous. So try and inculcate that habit. All right, avoid this mistake. Moving on. Now this mistake, it should be well known that incomplete answers will not be appreciated when it comes to a language test. All right, the thing is that this entire examination is used to check your proficiency in the language and how well you can do when you're trying to hold a conversation with someone. So again, if you give incomplete answers, that is not going to take you anywhere. Do not just say, what is your favorite game, and if you just respond with football, that is an incomplete answer. All right, that is not something that the examiner is expecting from you, so they will mark you less. So try and avoid this mistake. All right, something that we all are very familiar with is using slang words. In our day-to-day lives, we usually use slang words when we're talking to someone. This is pretty natural and something that you need to really work on before you're going for IELTS examination. I personally had a lot of problem in overcoming this difficulty, but when I did, it only made my speaking go up the hill. So while you're phrasing your framing your answers, do not use slang words in them. If you want to say, I want to go there, you say I want to go there and not I wanna go there. Wanna is a slang word, and such similar slang words are not considered to be a part of proper English. This is a test where you have to use proper English, ones which have rules, ones which need to be followed. So do not use these slang words. All right. On that note, we are coming to an end with this video. I hope by now you've understood what all simple mistakes are avoidable and how you can avoid them to do much better on your IELTS speaking section. Alright, we will be back with another video where we will be talking about the common mistakes that people often do in their listening section also. Till then, try and watch this video and grasp as much as you can from the pointers we discussed with you. Thank you.